Hi, it's Sean, the Fluency Awesomizer. This is Decoding Multi-Syllabic Words, episode 102. I've got 4 words I'm going to take a close look at today. Let's get started. I want you to read these words right out loud. What's this first word? What's this? The third word. And finally. All right, were any of those tricky to read? Keep watching. I'm going to review those words, show you some interesting information and some strategies you might want to recall next time you're stuck on words like those when you're reading independently. First, a reminder of the fable of the tortoise and the hare. And the moral, slow and steady wins the race, which is great advice when you do get stuck on big, unfamiliar words. I'll use unfamiliar as an example. You can think of these words as races. There is a finish line, and if you read like the hare, you might want to get to that finish line first, and you'll zip through a big word like this. That's where mistakes can happen. But if you read like the tortoise, you take it slow and steady when you come to these words. And patience is definitely going to help improve your ability to decode them. So keep that in mind. Let's practice here. All right. This is definitely a tricky word. It looks like it starts with is. There's that isos. It's probably an open syllable. Isos. And SC, that's a tricky consonant pair. C can make 2 sounds. It could be a K as in score, or an S. You might not even hear it as in scent. So is that scales or seals? This is a tricky word. This is the word isosceles. It's an adjective. It's a math word. I'll show you why in a moment. But we get it from the ancient language Latin. And in Latin, it's pronounced isosceles. And the SC is making an SH sound in Latin. Isosceles. Interesting. It's also a Greek word, isosceles. And the isos part, the Greek word root isos means equal. And skeles in Greek is legs. So this word literally means equal legs. Strange. That's where we get the English word isosceles. And the C in isosceles is silent, right? The other thing about this word, you actually pronounce the E at the end, isosceles, right? It's not like there's an isosceal and then you have more than one, you just add an S. It's not isosceles, it's isosceles. You'll see this word in math, especially when you go into middle school. And it means equal legs. So see the legs on this guy? Get a good look, right? See this triangle? This is an isosceles triangle because it has 2 equal sides, right? Down at the bottom, that's not the same length as the other 2. So isosceles is a math word meaning 2 equal sides. Isosceles. Not to be confused with this. This word's a little tricky because it looks like it repeats the same syllable. Is that ick? And we were just talking about that. Is that lees or less? No, this is the word icicles. Those C's make it tricky to read. You know, icicles. Root word is icicle. And the root word of that is ice. And the C is soft and ice because of the silent E at the end. So that's the soft C in the beginning of icicle because it's followed by an I. The C followed by an I is going to be a soft C too. This C is a hard C because it's part of the consonant pair, CL. Now this ickle part of icicle, it looks a little strange, doesn't it? You might be tempted to spell it like this if you ever had to spell icicle. But it's CLE. That is a French root. We have CLE. The French root CLE in a lot of words in English. It's in English all over the place. Here's icicle. You can see it in uncle, and cycle, circle. All right, it comes from French. An article. You might be tempted to spell it like this. Like if you had to write the word article, you might spell it the way it sounds, but or like this with a CK, article. So CLE, you need to know that. But there's also a CKLE. And you see that in words like tickle and buckle, all right? So keep that in mind. Both of those had an LE ending. So back to icicle. It's a noun, so we just add an S to make the plural noun, icicles. But you don't pronounce it. It's not less or least at the end. You gotta remember the root word and just an S to make it a plural noun, icicles. All right, the third word I showed you starts with super. I think everyone can tell that. R controlled vowel sound there in super, right? You don't want to confuse it with supri, supri, right? And if you did that, it's possible you did that, you might think there's a syllable rel in the middle of this word, but that's per, so there's the syllable pearl in the beginning of this word. And then it looks like Latin, is that tiv or tie? This is a tricky word too, it's superlatives. It's a plural noun, superlatives. Root word is superlative, which could be a noun or an adjective. And the origin of that is the ancient Latin word superlativus. Superlativus. Super, did you know that? Just a Latin word, everyone knows that word super. It means beyond, like way out there, man. Super. And this part, this Latin root, lat, means carry. So this Latin word superlativus literally means to carry beyond. It also means exaggerated. That's a tricky word there. I should do a video on exaggerated. Anyway, English, when they were creating the English language, they took that Latin word and kept this part, superlative. But see that tiv? For some reason, no words end with V, they added an E. All right, so words don't end with just a V, there's always an E at the end. See that? There's only one I can think of, that the word improv is an exception, but that's an acting word, improv. But that's only because it's like an abbreviation for improvisation. So keep that in mind, V followed by an E. Superlative, you've probably heard the word superlative at school and talking and learning about superlative adjectives, right? And superlative adjectives are words like best, smartest, tallest, fastest. Notice they all have EST in common. Yeah, that's because superlative adjectives are words where you take an adjective as a root and you add the suffix EST. It's pretty much the pattern there. So that's what a superlative is superlative adjective, but a superlative is also an exaggeration. Like if you said, she's the happiest person in the whole world, you know, that it's possible, but I really doubt it. The whole world, I mean, come on. Superlative, the adjective is synonymous, means excellent or the best, right? So there's best again. Superlative, the noun, that's where we get add the S to get a plural noun, superlative, superlatives. And I think we all know this word is relatives. It's a plural noun. We'll look at it just for a moment though, the root word relative, and the origin of that is in Latin, relativus. That means related to, surprise. And the English language kept this part of the Latin word relative. And again, just a reminder, words don't end with just V. So English added an E to that Latin root to get relative. And you don't pronounce it relative. It's still pronounced relative, right? And so just another reminder, V followed by an E. Put an S, you have the word relatives, all right? So that's it for today's lesson. Subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Facebook for more helpful decoding videos like this one. Tell a friend, a family member, or a teacher about me too. Spread the good word. On my Facebook page, there's a photo album full of reading challenges I've written to help you continue practice decoding those big words, very important at your age. All right, I hope you enjoyed the lesson here and found it helpful. Come back and see me soon. Bye.